Ballet dorms are kind of toxic. I said it. I can't take it back. Listen. I left the ballet world like 2.5 years ago, and now I'm just spilling all the tea, and I'm gonna say it. I feel like ballet dorms are kind of toxic, okay? Maybe I'm the only one who experienced this, but I don't know. Listen, I had a good experience in my dorms. I really did. But when you really step back and you think about it, and like you're not dancing anymore, I just feel like they're a little toxic. So anyways, let's get into this. Hello, what an introduction, right? In case you don't know me, my name is Gavilla. I was a dancer for many years, and I left ballet about 2 years ago, 2.5. Yet I can't seem to escape it. Everybody always wants me to talk more about ballet. So here we are, and this is my channel. Welcome. As you probably know from the title and from the lovely intro of this video, I'm gonna talk a little bit about ballet dorms. So I know that I went a little overboard in the beginning of this video. Ballet dorms are not all toxic. Okay, they're not. But when you really think of it, they're not the best situation a lot of the times. And I've lived in multiple dorms. Like, this is not just one experience. Like, I think between summer intensives and school, it was like, I don't know, at least like 8 different dorms in my situation. Ooh, I banged on my tree. I'm in a silly, goofy mood today, sorry. Anyways, so I definitely have quite a bit of experience in the dorm life. I don't know, something about it is just, it's hard. Anyways, before we get into it, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I drop videos like this every single week, and I still talk about ballet, even though sometimes I don't want to. Anywho, let's get into dorms. But just recapping like some experiences in dorms, the biggest thing that is just so toxic, in my opinion, and I hate using the word toxic, but I'm gonna use it anyways. The main thing that I found was just the fact that you're living with not only the people that you see every single day, but also the people who are in ballet also, who are going through probably the same struggles that you are. And that can be very, very hard. I can tell you, ballet dancers don't have the best track record when it comes to things like food sometimes, exercise other times. Again, this is not insinuating everything. Everybody has their own journey. I can just tell you from my own experience that I personally struggle with these things, and I also lived with a lot of people in these ballet dorms who struggle with these things as well. And in my experience and talking with my friends and all of that, it can be really, really hard when you are living with a whole group of girls who are basically going through the same struggles that you are going through. It's like a breeding ground for insecurity. And I hate that. I hate to admit that, but it's true. And again, like, I don't blame the ballet schools for this. What are they gonna do? I mean, this is the obvious solution for housing students. Like, you can't just put everybody in their own rooms. You can't just like, I don't know, mix them with like random people. You gotta have a solution. So it makes total sense. But it is just, I don't know. It's so hard. It's so toxic. Ugh. I feel like I have a million stories that I could tell about dorms. And honestly, even at one of my schools, I didn't just live with dancers. I was also living with musicians, and a lot of it was the same. Like the music world and the dance world, honestly, anything in the arts usually has the same kind of story where there's a lot of insecurity. It can be very difficult. I mean, you're practicing hours and hours and hours a day, and I just feel it can be so hard to be living with other girls who are in the same situation. Like, it's like there's no escape. The other thing that I always found difficult is that in a lot of these ballet dorms, actually in all of the ballet dorms that I lived in, you're living with multiple people, like a lot of people. The only exception was like certain summer intensives, but you're living with a lot of people. Like my first dorm that I lived in for the whole year, there was 6 of us, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. That's like crazy for 6 girls, 18-year-old girls. I was 16 at the time, but still, I mean, that's even worse. 6 girls to 1 bathroom. Oh my God. It got a little better when it was like 4 girls to 1 bathroom. You know how this goes. Like, this is not ideal. Certain schools, I remember, like for the summer programs, it was like 3 bedrooms with like 6 people total, or maybe it was like 4 bedrooms with like 8 people, and you'd get like 3 bathrooms. Like, that was good. That was fine. That's much better. But it's like the cramped space and like the never-ending ballet talk. For me, that was always hard. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to spend this whole video just like totally hating on ballet dorms. Like that's not my goal here. Although I'm sure that I'm not the only person who thinks like that. I do want to give you some advice if you are currently in a ballet dorm or heading to a ballet dorm. Like it's the summer right now. I don't know if you're watching this in the summer, but a lot of dancers will go to summer intensives. Maybe it's your first dorm experience. So I want to give you some tips because again, as someone who is a seasoned dormer, I've learned a thing or two, that's for sure. So I can give you the basic tips of like, bring a shower caddy. If you're sharing showers with multiple people, you might want to wear some shower shoes, especially for summer intensives. Always have a spot for your stuff. Like this is where my stuff goes. You know, the basics.
I got poop so bad.
You just such an idiot. But I want to go one step beyond that because, you know, you could look that up on Google. I'm going to tell you the real, okay? So the real tea, I'm going to encourage you to not just spend 24/7 with these ballet people. And I love my ballet people. I had so many friends who are dancers. I still have so many friends who are dancers. And I was a dancer and I loved it. But one thing that I wish that I had done differently was making friends who weren't just dancers. And I say this all the time. And I think that every dancer would probably relate to this too. But it's so hard to be surrounded by this thing 24/7. Again, attached to dance, a lot of times there are things like insecurities and other issues that are going on with certain people, right? It can be really, really hard if you don't have an escape from that. So my biggest tip there is either find an outside hobby where maybe you're like going somewhere like that you can do something, or even like a hobby that you're doing yourself. Like one thing that I did was I started learning how to play the ukulele and I would write songs and I freaking loved that. Like I really did. And I always found that that was like my escape from the ballet like bubble, you know? Because again, going back to what I said earlier, like that is probably the hardest part. That's the most toxic part, is that you're only surrounded by dancers, and that can be really, really hard. So find like a hobby or find like other friends who aren't necessarily in the ballet school with you. And this at least gives you a little bit of an out if it feels a little bit much and you're getting a little tired of the ballet talk 24/7, because unfortunately it is so inevitable. Like the ballet drama is real, the talking is real, like it just never ends. It never ends. If you do find a hobby or other friends or whatever, like that gives you a little bit of distance from it. And I always find that that's so helpful. Even if it's just like talking to friends on FaceTime, you know, for me, again, like I moved from my normal life, normal high school, all the things, to a ballet dorm for, you know, a year or whatever across the country. I still had friends who went to my high school who were not dancers. They were just, you know, normal kids. Maybe they played sports, whatever. And I would talk to them on the phone. And even just doing that, like having friends to FaceTime, having people to talk to who are not dancers, I always find is very, very helpful. So again, I don't want to completely hate on the ballet dorm. I know that they're there for a reason. I know they're super helpful. I know for a lot of people, they're the only accommodation that you can get right now, and that's completely fine. And again, I lived in dorms for so many years that I did it too. I just want to make sure that you are not falling into some of the same kind of harmful behaviors and habits that I did when I was in the dorm situation. So hopefully the helpful tip that I gave at the end does help you. Let me know if you could relate to this. I guarantee that these experiences that I mentioned are not just me. In fact, I know they're not just me because again, I've lived in these dorms for like a lot of my life and I know that this happens everywhere. So yeah, I would love to hear your experience in the comments if you do have an experience in your own dorm, or maybe you're not a dancer and like, I don't know, maybe you're a musician or something and you had a similar experience. Let me know. We can start the conversation in the comments. Anyways, I am gonna go now. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already. You get this kind of content all the time from me. Promise it's exciting. And if you liked this specific video, you can give it a thumbs up, and that just lets me know that you liked this one, and then I can maybe create some more content around this topic. So if you have any ideas or any topics that you want me to talk about, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. Anywho, my work here is done. I hope you have a fabulous day. If you are in a dorm, please stay sane, okay? I'm rooting for you. You got this. I know you got this because I did it too, okay? You got this. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.